When we speak of peace, most people imagine silence, comfort, or the absence of problems. But Islam teaches a deeper truth. Peace is not found in the absence of hardship. It's found in the presence of Allah. And that presence, that divine connection, is experienced most intimately in Salah. It's remarkable that Allah, in His mercy, didn't just command us to pray. He invited us 5 times a day to leave behind the noise of the world and enter His presence. Salah is not a burden placed upon us, it's a sanctuary built for us. Every call to prayer is an open door, a reminder that no matter how far you've drifted, Allah is still waiting for you to return and find calm in His remembrance. Think about the timing of Salah. Fajr, when the world is still quiet, calls you to begin your day with remembrance, anchoring your heart before life's noise begins. Dar arrives when the day's demands weigh you down, offering you a pause to breathe and reset. As pulls you back from the rush, reminding you of what truly matters before the sun sets. Maghrib brings you to gratitude as the day ends, and Isha wraps your soul in serenity before rest. It's not random, it's divine structure. Allah rhythmically aligning your spiritual heart to His remembrance, ensuring that your peace is not determined by your environment, but by your connection to Him. But let's be honest, many of us have turned Salah into routine. We stand, recite, bow, and prostrate, often unaware of the sacred reality we're in. We treat prayer as an obligation to complete, not an opportunity to converse. The irony is that the peace we are all desperately searching for in life is hidden within the very prayer we rush through. When the heart is absent, Salah becomes motion without meaning. Yet when the heart is awake, even 2 rakahs can heal what the world has broken. Salah is meant to disconnect you from everything and connect you to the one who controls everything. It's a divine pause button in a world that never stops moving. When you stand before Allah, it's not just a physical act, it's a psychological and spiritual retreat. You are consciously telling yourself, the world can wait. My peace matters. My connection to Allah matters. In that moment, your mind detaches from deadlines, your heart lets go of expectations, and your soul begins to breathe again. We live in a time of constant noise, notifications, conversations, anxieties, comparisons, and yet, in the midst of all that chaos, Salah demands stillness. That stillness is not empty, it's sacred. It's where clarity is born. In prostration, when your forehead touches the ground, you realize how small you are and how great your Lord is. And strangely enough, that humility doesn't weaken you, it frees you. Because when you submit to Allah, you stop submitting to the pressures of the world. You stop needing validation from people. You stop chasing peace in temporary things because you found it in something eternal. If we truly understood Salah, we wouldn't rush through it. We would rush to it. Each prayer is a reminder that no matter how chaotic life becomes, there is always a space 5 times a day where the heart can rest, a space where Allah listens, heals, and reminds you that peace is not a destination you travel to. It's a state of being that begins the moment you stand before Him. So the next time you hear the adhan, don't think of it as a call interrupting your schedule. Think of it as a call saving your soul, because peace doesn't come from escaping life. It comes from aligning your life with the one who created it. And that alignment begins in Salah. When we talk about Salah, it's easy to think of it as a set of physical actions, standing, bowing, prostrating. But in truth, the body is only the outer shell. The real essence of Salah lies in the heart. That inner stillness, that deep awareness, that's what we call Khushu. And without it, Salah can easily become an exercise of movement rather than a conversation of meaning. The Prophet A said that a person might pray and receive nothing from their prayer except fatigue, while another might pray and walk away with peace, light, and forgiveness. The difference isn't in the words or the posture, it's in the presence of the heart. In our modern world, distraction has become the default state of the mind. Our thoughts constantly drift between worries, screens, and endless to-do lists. So when we stand before Allah, our lips move, but our hearts are often elsewhere. We might be saying Allahu Akbar, yet thinking about work, family, or what's next on our schedule. And that's the tragedy, because those few minutes of Salah were meant to be the most intimate moments of our day, moments when we disconnect from creation and connect to the Creator. But the beauty of Allah's mercy is that Khushu is not an all or nothing state. It's something you cultivate like a garden. The more you tend to it, the more it grows. The first step is awareness, realizing that Salah is not a performance to complete, but a meeting to experience. You're not reciting words for the sake of recitation, you're speaking directly to Allah. When you recite Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, pause for a moment and internalize it. You're expressing gratitude to the Lord of all worlds. Every verse, every posture is an invitation to slow down and feel the weight of what you're saying. And here's the profound part. The human mind can only focus deeply on what the heart values. If you truly value your Salah, your heart will fight distraction. If you truly understand who you're standing before, your thoughts will naturally return to Him. This isn't just spirituality, it's psychology. The heart follows what it loves, and when love for Allah fills your heart, Khushu follows naturally. Now, presence in Salah doesn't mean you'll never get distracted. Even the best of us do. The difference is that when your mind drifts, you gently bring it back. You catch yourself and return again and again. And every time you do, Allah rewards you for that struggle. Salah then becomes not only a form of worship, but also a training of the heart. It teaches you discipline, focus, and humility. It purifies your inner world. Imagine how different our lives would feel if our prayers were alive with meaning. If we stood before Allah, not just with our bodies, but with our hearts open. You'd find that the anxieties that suffocate you begin to loosen. You'd notice that anger softens, that impatience fades, that gratitude grows. Because a khushu doesn't just affect your prayer, it transforms your character. You begin to carry that calm into your day. You speak softer, forgive quicker, and worry less. Salah becomes your spiritual reset, your heart's daily reminder that no matter what happens outside, inside you are anchored. We chase peace through achievement, pleasure, or control. But the real peace we crave comes from surrender. That surrender happens every time your forehead touches the ground and your heart whispers, "You are my Lord, and I am your servant." That moment, that's khushu. When you stand for Salah tonight, don't rush, don't recite mechanically. Slow down, be present. Remind your heart who you're speaking to, because true peace in Salah isn't about how perfect your recitation sounds. It's about how sincere your presence feels. One of the most profound realizations a believer can have is that Salah was never meant to be a mere ritual. It was meant to be therapy for the soul. In a world that constantly drains us emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, Allah has prescribed a way to refill our hearts 5 times a day. And what's beautiful is that this therapy doesn't cost anything. It doesn't require a specialist, and it doesn't depend on your situation in life. It's accessible to every believer, no matter where they are. Salah is your direct line to divine healing. When you think about it, human beings carry a lot of silent pain. We carry memories we've never spoken of, fears we never share, guilt we try to bury, and anxieties that keep us awake at night. The world teaches us to escape those feelings, to distract ourselves with entertainment, busyness, or even denial. But Salah teaches the opposite. It teaches us to face our emotions before the one who understands them completely. When you raise your hands and say, Allahu Akbar, you are symbolically letting go of everything that weighs you down. You are acknowledging that Allah is greater than your problems, your mistakes, your regrets, your grief. And in that surrender, healing begins. It's not an exaggeration to say that Salah is the purest form of mindfulness. Modern psychology speaks of being present in the moment, focusing on breath, calming the mind. But 1400 years ago, the Prophet taught us something far deeper, not just to be present, but to be present with Allah. Each movement of Salah realigns your mind and heart. When you bow in rukuf, you're humbling your intellect. When you prostrate, you're humbling your ego. And when you sit, you're resting your soul in remembrance. It's not simply movement, it's purification. It's you shedding layers of stress, guilt, and pride until only your sincerity remains. How many times have you gone into Salah burdened and come out lighter, calmer, and somehow more hopeful? That's not coincidence. That's the spiritual effect of standing in front of the one who says, "Indeed, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest." The Prophet used to say, "O Bilal, give us comfort through the prayer." Notice his words, not the prayer. But through it, Salah was not a break from life's struggles, it was the way through them. For him, prayer was relief, not obligation. It was healing, not hardship. And if we approach it that way, if we see Salah as emotional and spiritual therapy, we'll begin to notice how it changes us from within. You start to speak to Allah honestly in your sujood. You tell Him what you can't tell anyone else. You cry, not because of weakness, but because your heart finally feels safe. You begin to trust that no tear is wasted, that no whispered dua goes unheard. Slowly, your mind quiets, your chest feels lighter, and your soul becomes more at ease. That is what peace through Salah feels like, not the absence of struggle, but the presence of divine support. Salah heals you by shifting your perspective. It reminds you that every difficulty has purpose, every pain has wisdom, and every loss can bring you closer to Allah if you let it. It teaches patience, gratitude, and surrender, not as abstract virtues, but as lived experiences. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start whispering, "Guide me." That subtle shift is where healing truly begins. So the next time you're anxious, overwhelmed, or broken, don't run away from your prayer. Run to it. Let it be your refuge, your therapy, your quiet conversation with the one who already knows your heart. You don't need to have the right words, you just need to show up. Because in the stillness of Salah, Allah heals you in ways words never could. The true measure of Salah is not found in how perfectly you recite or how long you stand. It's found in what it does to your heart after you leave the prayer mat. Because the real purpose of Salah was never to inform. It was to transform. Allah did not command us to pray simply to fulfill an obligation, but to refine our souls, to mold our character, and to teach us how to live with awareness of Him in every moment. The Prophet has said, "Here, the first thing a person will be held accountable for on the day of judgment is their prayer." But that accountability isn't just about the performance. It's about whether Salah actually changed you. When Salah is performed with sincerity and reflection, it begins to shape the way you see the world. You start to notice that it disciplines not only your time, but your temperament. It softens your tone, tames your ego, and teaches you patience. The rhythm of prayer instills consistency, a reminder that faith isn't a one-time declaration, but a daily renewal. Every time you stand in prayer, you're silently reaffirming, "Why Allah, I belong to you. I submit again, even after failing, I return again, even after forgetting." That repetition is not empty, it's transformative. It teaches resilience, humility, and hope. If you think about it, the moments between prayers define who we are. Salah is like an anchor. It grounds you 5 times a day so that the waves of life don't carry you away. Each prayer recenters your priorities. After you pray, you are reminded to act with integrity, to speak with kindness, to forgive when it's difficult, and to stay patient when it's easier to react. If your Salah doesn't begin to influence these qualities, then you've experienced its form, but not yet its essence. Allah says in the Quran, "As indeed prayer restrains from shameful and unjust deeds." That's the mark of transformation, when your prayer begins to echo in your behavior. Salah was never meant to stay confined to the masjid or the prayer mat. It was meant to overflow into your interactions, your choices, your relationships. The humility you feel in Sujood should teach you gentleness with others. The patience you learn while waiting for that inner peace in prayer should make you more tolerant with people. The surrender you experience before Allah should make you less arrogant before His creation. Every bow, every prostration is supposed to leave an imprint, not on the ground, but on your character. When the Prophet faced hardship, his first instinct was to turn to prayer. For him, Salah was not a pause from responsibility, it was power for responsibility. That's what true transformation looks like, when your prayer doesn't make you passive, but strengthens you to face life with conviction. You begin to live with a quiet confidence, not because life gets easier, but because your trust in Allah becomes deeper. You walk differently when your heart knows it bows to no one but Him. We sometimes separate faith from life, as if religion belongs to the mosque while real life happens outside. But Salah is meant to destroy that illusion. It's meant to merge your worship with your daily existence, to make every action an extension of that divine connection. When your Salah is sincere, your work becomes worship, your patience becomes faith, and your silence becomes remembrance. You no longer chase peace outside, you carry it within. And that's the ultimate transformation, when Salah becomes not just something you idove, but something you live, when it stops being a ritual and becomes your rhythm. When the peace you find in prayer starts to guide you outside of it.